Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the latest episode of Heartslayers. We are the Heartslayers. I am Dr. Derrick. Not a real doctor, a love doctor. And I'm here with...
Does that make me like your nurse?
Not a medical nurse, a love nurse.
Okay.
Meg Turner. We're going to be answering your questions today, helping you out with all of your problems. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Hey, one more thing to say about this episode. I apologize, but we have been experiencing some technical difficulties with our computer here for like 2 or 3 weeks. Our recordings are glitching out. Things are just going haywire over there. So the last episode and this episode have kind of been not working out. So if anything is weird about this episode, if you don't see any video, if it's just audio, that's us trying to cope with some technical difficulties. We're going to try to get it sorted out by next time, but just bear with us as we, pardon our dust during these times of construction. So without further ado, and with that being said, let's get to the episode. Okay, everybody, we're here with Sam. Sam, you're here with the Heartslayers. What's up?
I just had a quick question for you guys.
Okay.
Sort of relationship based. So recently I started, or I guess it was week before last, hung out with this girl that I kind of know. We like quote unquote dated in middle school. Like, we just kind of knew each other. But, we were like, it was like 6th grade or whatever. Okay. But we've kind of been friends. I've kind of known her for a while. And she actually, I hadn't talked to her in a while, but she actually kind of knows my family now. She works with my sister and has kind of become like close with like my family and my nieces. And I actually was in my hometown, and I asked if she wanted to hang out, and we actually did. We went and grabbed dinner. Okay. But I was kind of wondering, most people, like the last few girls I've dated, it's kind of been like someone I met in class. It's kind of been understood that it's a date. And when you kind of meet with someone you kind of already know, I was kind of wondering maybe if you guys had any ideas on how to like kind of transition from like friends to like maybe more than that.
Yeah, okay. So when you say you dated in middle school, it was in 6th grade. How old are you now?
I'm 22, going to be 23.
Okay, so this was probably like, what, 12 13 years ago?
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me about that middle school relationship. Where did that go? When I was in 6th grade, I didn't date anybody.
No.
So,
well, you say date, but it wasn't really date. Like we hung out a couple times.
Okay. Holding hands and that kind of puppy love stuff. Yeah. How did the dinner go when you guys were hanging out? Did you feel any like connection, any sparks or anything?
Well, actually, I think it kind of went great because we kind of ended up like for, I think, over an hour afterward, just kind of sitting there and talking.
Okay. That's always a good sign.
Just kind of like catching up, like stories, what we've been up to, and just all kinds of stuff. And then the next day was my niece's birthday. And so she's, knows my sister. And so like I saw her again there and kind of hung out with her, and it was kind of nice.
Okay, cool. You say, so do you guys live in the same town, or were you said you were just visiting?
I live like 20 minutes away. I live in just the next county.
That's not bad.
I go home a lot.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, I would say, I think that when two people spend a lot of time together, it's almost inevitable that they're going to start to develop feelings for each other. Yeah. So if she is willing to hang out with you on a pretty consistent basis, just one-on-one, then that means she likes you. Yeah. And I feel like after a little while, she's going to make it pretty obvious to you whether she is into you and wants to date you or not.
Right,
so,
yeah.
To answer your question of how do you take it to the next level, I think that you should just start hanging out more and kind of feel it out, see what happens.
Yeah, like go on more dates.
Go on more dates, or wait. So did she know it was a date, or did she think it was just two friends hanging out?
See, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. What did you say to her when you just like, hey, you want to go get some food sometime?
Yeah, actually, I was house sitting for my parents while they were out of town. And I was like, hey, I'm going to be in town, and I was wondering if you'd like to get together.
Okay.
And she said, yeah, and we went out and it was a good time.
So she's probably wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, is this a date?
What is this?
Are we just hanging out as friends?
Mm-hmm.
I would say, you know what? You did the right thing. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Just keep asking her to hang out one-on-one. You want to come over to my house and watch a movie? That one is pretty obvious.
Yeah, you get the vibe from somebody when they're constantly asking to hang out, just especially one-on-one. So
there's got to be something he could do to get a clue or something. All right, I'm not suggesting this. I'm going to tell you an anecdote, and this isn't necessarily advice to you, but this is what another person I know has done. I have a friend out there. We're going to call him Andy.
Okay.
What he would say, and I don't know if this is good advice, but I'm just going to let you know. He's like, when I hang out with a girl, I ask her to get a 6-pack of beer and bring it over to my house. What? And what he says is, if she doesn't bring the beer, I know she's not really interested in me. If she does bring it, then I think she's interested in me.
Okay.
And I feel like, I don't know if that is good advice, but I kind of see where he's coming from. Because, not everybody out there is an alcohol drinker.
Right.
But I feel like everybody knows, like, alcohol is kind of a fuel to breaking the ice. I'm not necessarily suggesting, like, get somebody drunk and try to kiss them. No. But it's like liquid courage, you know? It kind of is like, all right, this is, it's a sign. So I don't know. I'm not saying you should ask her to bring over some beers, but I'm trying to wonder if there's like a situation you can invite her to where it's kind of implied, like,
I mean, that whole watching a movie thing is pretty implied.
Yeah. With the whole Netflix and chill culture we have now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I would try to ask her if she wants to come over sometime during the evening to hang out with you, watch a movie, or just, hang out one-on-one.
Right.
And then, again, just feel it out, see where it goes. Yeah. You might still be in the same boat of like, well, I don't know if she's into me. Personally, I've hung out with girls like 3 or 4 or even 5 times before there was some sort of romantic connection there. Right. So we did start as friends and then, just kept hanging out. And then after a while, it's like, we're practically like dating here. Yeah. We've been hanging out like at night all week.
Yeah.
A Saturday night. That's instead of the beer, ask her over on like a Saturday night. Because that's like the going out night.
Right.
So if she's willing to come out, spend her Saturday night with you.
That's true.
Then that should be a sign that she might be interested in some romance.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Are you going to try it this weekend?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I will be home. I'm going home for Thanksgiving, so I'll actually be in town. Where she lives this weekend.
Yeah, nice. Perfect opportunity. Yeah, try it out. And if you don't mind, call us back. Let us know how it all worked out.
Definitely.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Thanks for the call, Sam.
Hey, thanks a lot. Nice talking to you.
Take it easy.
Bye.
This one comes from Jay, and it reads, Hey, Derrick and Meg. I'm writing in because something came up recently in my life that I've been thinking about but could use an outside opinion on. About a month and a half ago, I started a graduate program that combines art and tech. The program I'm in is very rigorous and, at least for the first semester, has us working morning, noon, and night 7 days a week on different creative projects with tight deadlines. Because it's such a multidisciplinary program, though, I've gotten to meet a lot of super interesting people. One of them is a girl who I've collaborated with twice on projects. She's incredibly creative, funny, and sensitive. From our conversations, it seems like she thinks the same about me, too. We've even ended up in situations where we've had a few heart-to-hearts, and it feels like we've gone through a lot of the same stuff emotionally. It's rare for me to find a girl who I can relate to this much, so I'd really like to pursue something more. But making the ask for that first date is a big challenge for a number of reasons, mainly trying to figure out the right place and right time. Because the course load is so intense at the moment, we see each other all the time, but would be too busy to go out or do anything. Our schedules are more open next semester, which starts January, so I was thinking the best plan would be to continue getting to know her as a friend for the next couple of months, then ask her out when there's more time on our hands. At the same time, I worry if that's waiting too long. I have a feeling I'm way overthinking a lot of this. Would really appreciate to hear your take on it. Thanks for reading, Jay. Well, thanks for the email, Jay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to hear that you're in such a rigorous program.
Right, jeez.
I mean, clearly it's infringing on your personal life. You don't even have time to go on a date. So he sees this girl. They've had some heart-to-hearts.
Right.
He gets the feeling that she's into him as much as he's into her.
Okay.
What do you think? Should you bring up the romance early on when you first meet somebody and those sparks are there, or is it okay to wait a little while?
I do feel like it might depend on the situation.
Really?
But at the same time, I don't think it's a bad thing to bring up the romance.
I don't think it's a bad thing. See, I think it's kind of a bad thing to wait.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you could just wait way too long and then lose interest.
People lose interest, or they get interested in somebody else, or they just think like, oh, this guy's not into me. Or honestly, sometimes I feel like when you like a girl, but you can't tell her, it starts to make it awkward.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I don't know if I like this guy anymore.
Right.
He's a little bit awkward.
Yeah. I feel like Jay might be overthinking it a bit.
Yeah. I think, Jay, you might be overthinking a little bit, but you got to strike while the iron's hot. You got to make some sort of romantic move if you think that she's into you and you're into her.
I think
gotta go for it.
Yeah, because okay, let me put it this way: you guys are super busy. I get that. But you got to eat dinner sometime. Like you got to get some coffee at some point.
And you know what? Maybe your first date can be working on a creative project together.
Yeah.
But you just spice it up romantically, Bring out the candle and light it. Bring out the McDonald's, to the date, to the creative project, rather. And that is your first date. You don't need to be going out for steak dinners or romantic walks by the river or the lake. You just got to be spending time together.
Exactly.
Making that connection, which it sounds like you guys are already doing. So, you know what? What should he do to let her know that he's interested in a not hokey way?
That's a really good question. I mean, definitely spending a lot of one-on-one time together if possible. I mean, also, when your schedules do free up, you could do those whole romantic gestures and go on those romantic walks by a river or lake. But for now...
Jay, I think you need to do a little thing called flirting.
Yeah.
You just need to flirt with her a little bit.
She'll get the idea.
Yeah, just, dip your toe into the relationship dating waters, okay? Just send her a little signal. See how she responds. If she's receptive to it, you'll be fine. I'm sure you'll know where to go from that.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, let's go get a cup of coffee after this project or something. And if it gets a little weird or something, then cut it off.
Absolutely.
But I don't think you need to wait until your schedule's free up. That's silly, okay?
No.
The heart wants what the heart wants, all right?
Yeah.
So
you have a little free time to go do something.
Yeah, you could find some free time. I don't think you're there 24 hours a day at school. I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's got to be some break where you guys can get outside of that normal setting and laugh, make that connection. Just try to make it happen, Jay. Don't be afraid. Just go for it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Thanks for the email. Good luck. All right. We're going to do another email here. And I need to warn you, this next email is a little bit explicit. It's a long story and with a sexual nature to it.
Man.
So
here we go.
If there are any kids in the room, please cover their ears. I know that Meg is going to laugh.
Yeah, I will.
During the reading of
because
this
I'm
email.
a child.
So no offense to the person who emailed us in.
It's just me. I'm stupid.
There's just a little bit of some intense moments in here, and we may laugh. So, with parental discretion advised, let's get to it. This email comes from somebody who goes by the letter A. It's a long story. I'm going to read it to you now. So, it says, Dear Heartslayers, I can pinpoint the story of this to the first few weeks of 2007, the first week, possibly the first day of high school for me. I grew up as a very straight-edge kid, and I was pretty into the whole abstinence thing as a 13-year-old. My goal entering high school was simply to get through without getting involved in anything sexual, partly because of my culturally religious upbringing. However, being a teenager, I kept in the back of my mind that if the opportunity presented itself, I would use the chance to get it all out of my system in that one time rather than fighting it.
Okay.
It was my first day, or one of my first days, in the computer lab of my IT class, which is essentially a major at this high school. The room is arranged in two halves, both of which are in rows of desks. The smaller half of the room is empty desks in front of a marker board for writing during lectures, and the other 3/4 of the room is 3 huge rows of long desks with computers on them. I'm just sitting dead center between the computer desk and the lecture desks, lined up with students in chairs enthusiastically talking about computer stuff. A girl rolls her chair over to me and just looks at me without saying anything, and I think little of it. She is pretty, tan, taller than me, all of which I like, with a face that fits slightly too small for her head. Thanks for the description.
Okay.
It didn't make me think she was less pretty, just an observation that I can't bring myself to say is untrue. And although I wasn't paying any attention to it at the time, I later discovered that she had a butt that could be described as tremendous, stupendous, and exemplary.
Okay.
I'm just skimming here to see. All right, he goes on to describe the butt a little bit, skipping ahead. She then, without saying anything, leans forward, grabs my penis over the pants, no skin contact, I'm sorry, without any apparent reason, begins giving me an HJ. I look at her, my mind rushes, and I immediately begin to think of ways to get her to stop, but with a huge emphasis on not appearing sexist because of cultural stereotypes about Arab dudes like me. I didn't want her to think there was anything wrong with her for doing this because most guys would be okay with this. Not sure if that's true, but she should be free to express herself sexually. Also, not sure if that's true.
Yeah.
To me, the thought of a guy resisting a pleasant HJ from an equally pleasant girl seemed like it would be taken as a ludicrous joke by anyone else. And the thought that it was completely non-consensual never crossed my mind. If anything, I thought people would think I coerced her into doing it, and I'd get in huge trouble, again, because of my ethnicity. Simultaneously, I did not want her to look. I did not want to look like a dork, or like I was gay. Because I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being gay, it's just the mindset I was in at the time. Okay, fair enough. She then asked me if it felt good down there, and I truthfully said, yeah. Quietly in a shitty voice that I now realize sounded a lot like that shitty, yeah, baby, grunt guys do in porn. You know the one. I hadn't seen porn back then. But I'm nervous and I hope nobody is looking, so I quickly turn my head from left to right and I make direct eye contact with the girl sitting next to me for a good 3 seconds. While the first girl is still giving me an HJ.
Oh my god.
Just staring at this girl. Making me freak out internally. I then quickly turn my head back to the right and lock eyes with the guy sitting next to me for at least another 3 seconds. Staring at this girl, staring at this guy, not knowing what to do or how to get the girl to stop. I then look at the girl and muster up the courage to say in my calmest, most relaxed way, that's enough.
Oh no.
Like she was a server who had added just enough pepper to my meal or something. And she stopped without saying anything. She then quietly asked me the most unexpected question. Do you want to feel my boobs? Even though she was inviting me and it was completely consensual. I'm not sure, but I was more afraid of the social stigma it would garner me from the people around me for taking advantage of her, especially as an Arab dude. Oh. Almost losing my cool, I politely tell her, I don't think it's appropriate right now. Then nervously look around again, and thinking everyone is looking at me, I defensively raise my voice and say, "Don't get me wrong, I would love to." In the most faked, nonchalant way, added, "I'm not gay." It's the middle of class, because I wanted everyone in the room to know I was totally straight and simultaneously not interested in the HJ, but was overly concerned with not wanting to look homophobic. Whew, she looks at me, not surprised or angry or anything, just expressionless, and sat back in her chair and rolled her chair back to her spot. I then did my best to continue my classwork, and everyone else seemed to continue on as if nothing had happened, so I felt relatively okay for the rest of the day. I thought they probably didn't want to drag out the awkwardness any longer, but what is more likely was they weren't paying as much attention as I thought. In my mind, I was standing up in the exact center of class with everybody looking at me. Throughout this incident, I don't know if the teacher was watching. If they were, I must have blocked it out mentally. In case you are wondering if I finished, another guy in class who was friends with the girl discreetly asked me a day later, Did you? And I screamed at him way too loudly for other people to hear, "Squirt!" as I called the act of finishing at the time. "No, that's disgusting. I have like 5 hours of class left."
Oh my god.
It's like a response out of an anime.
Yeah.
I was again being defensive and overreacting to show everyone I had no interest in coercing this girl sexually. He just made an expression like, "Dude, chill. I wasn't even going to ask that," and backed away slowly. After the incident, I thought all the girls in class would be disgusted with me for taking advantage of another girl, and the guys would think I was showing off in class, even though I didn't want to do either of those things. Instead, from that day onward, I can't help but get the feeling the other girls in class were more interested and friendly to me. Someday after, one girl was moaning sexually while looking at me, which I didn't even fully realize the implications of, and one of her friends just giggled and told her to stop. I think realizing that I wasn't at all interested in the sexual act earlier and not wanting her friend to get embarrassed later for thinking I was, I even think a curiosity and interest in me spread to other girls outside of the class purely from seeing how the girls in class acted towards me. The other guys in class, and I think even some of my teachers, saw me as way cooler than I actually am, and the other guy students felt totally comfortable talking to me about porn, masturbating, and other guy stuff I had no clue about, as if I was an expert. I was pretty shy, but I tried to put on some bravado just to match the opinions of other guys that they seemed to have of me. I only ever tried bringing up the incident to one guy after that, the guy who I made eye contact with, who later became sort of a friend. As that one time the girl did that thing. He just looked confused or angry for a second, so I didn't continue this story. The girl never held anything against me. I never held it against her. We stayed friendly. She even asked me if I wanted to go out with her to the mall multiple times, which I just laughed at like she had to be joking because I had very low self-esteem, and also because there was somewhat of a cultural incompatibility with Western ideas of dating in my family and with my parents. But it was probably mostly because of low self-esteem. For a while, I nervously couldn't stop laughing whenever I sat next to her in class to reassure myself everything was all right. Nowadays, I think of this incident as having possibly been a positive learning experience overall to everyone involved, but throughout my time in high school, I kept thinking back to it as if I had done something wrong. I'm wondering if you think I acted strangely and how you might have acted in my situation. Is it like the old song Poison, which states, "Never trust a big butt and a smile"? I'm going to be very excessively serious and honest for this last note. I feel like if this was Loveline, Dr. Drew would have said that it's relevant that I have sort of a porn/masturbation addiction, and I'm into the HJ stuff more than hardcore stuff. And when I find a particular video I will watch, there isn't a good supply. Blah, 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 blah. And that might be related to my story somehow. Sorry for making you read that. Feel free to include it on the podcast. Or not, if you don't want to. I should have screened this before I read
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, just flying by the seat of my pants here. I'm fine with it since I'm anonymous, and maybe it can help someone else struggling with the addiction. I'm 23 now, have never had a girlfriend, and if anyone asks, I'm still a virgin, but I have. But a girl gave me an HJ once in computer class. Do I still count as a virgin?
Oh my god.
Thank you, A.
Wow.
Woo!
That
What
was
a story.
wild ride.
Thank you for sharing that with us, A. And Meg, you really shouldn't have laughed so much.
I'm so
okay?
sorry.
Try to take this seriously.
Okay,
We're here
I'm
to help
sorry.
people.
I'm sorry. I'm good now.
Yeah, I don't even... What was the question again? Struggling with porn addiction, masturbation addiction. Wow, what a story. Okay, so let's just dissect that a little bit. You know, in my opinion, I feel sorry for this guy.
Yeah.
I could pick up on so much conflicting emotions and you know, playing into racial stereotypes, fear of being stereotyped as this, you know, crazy Arab guy who is repressive or sexist towards women. So much stuff going on in his head. Honestly, I feel sorry that you had to go through that.
The thing I picked up the most, though, was him being concerned about being seen as taking advantage of this girl, when really, like, she's clearly the one who took advantage of him.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, too. The whole time in your story, you were kind of like, is this normal? Am I cool? Do people think I'm cool? You know, is this typical? I just want to let you know, in case you never figure this out, what happened to you is not normal.
No! Not at all. Oh my God.
You kind of got abused a little bit in high school.
Yeah.
I would go so far as to say the M word, molested by this girl.
Yeah, just casually coming over for an HJ.
Yeah,
like,
it's
Jesus.
Not cool and ladies out there, let me tell you as well, it is not cool to come over and just grab a guy by the unit. Okay, that is
you're a freshman in high school in a computer class.
Definitely not cool in computer class. Wouldn't be cool out on the street. Yeah, it's just not cool. So definitely you got abused a little bit.
That's not normal at all.
You know, all the conflicted feelings that you have had, and even now you say you have a porn addiction to HJ porn. This is all residual stuff that probably stems from this traumatic event that you had. And that just goes to show how not cool all of this is. Like, it's had lasting ramifications on your personal life and your whole high school experience.
Yeah.
So, just to clear the air, you got victimized a little bit, and it's not normal.
No.
And, honestly, I would talk to somebody.
That's what I was thinking.
I would go get a shrink. I would, if you can, talk to a psychiatrist, or even, I don't know,
if you're like in college, like they do have therapists. So.
Yeah, I think that there is some unresolved stuff there that you definitely want to sort out.
Yeah.
Now, are you a virgin? Yeah.
Yeah.
You still are. You do have this one crazy experience. But let's not get rid of the virgin card just yet. I think you can have a better experience.
Oh my God, have a willing experience.
Yeah, and then we'll say that you finally, broken through the glass ceiling of virginity there.
Yeah.
As far as teachers thinking you're cool or cooler, that might just be in your head.
Yeah.
Or you've got some messed up teachers.
I was going to say, if they knew that was going on, I'm sure that they wouldn't have allowed that to continue.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, maybe they would have. I don't know.
But you say you've never had a girlfriend. You had some problems with relationships and just sexual stuff in general. My advice to you, because this is an advice show.
Yeah.
We're not just here to laugh at your crazy story.
I'm sorry.
I just want to say that I think that is actually a traumatic event. If that happened to me, that would have messed me up for a long time in high school.
Absolutely.
Even just like having a first kiss with a girl in high school kind of messed me up. I was like, what does this mean now? Where do we go? And if somebody just skipped all that stuff and went straight to like, boom, 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 boom. Did you squirt? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of baggage that comes with that.
Oh, God, yeah. And especially if you're still holding on to that now and you're 23 years old, I think you need to talk to somebody about that.
Definitely. So it's a traumatic event. Obviously, it's affected you severely. It's not normal what happened to you. I would try to talk to somebody and work through it. I think that you have some stuff that you need to get off your chest with a trained professional.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't do that, if you just want to kind of like deal with it on your own and move forward, try to get a girlfriend, honestly, just accept that situation is not it's a traumatic situation. I think you're kind of trying to rationalize it to yourself, like, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it was a positive learning experience. Oh, this and that. I would classify that as something to kind of try to forget and move on from.
Yeah, definitely try your best to let go of that, because that's a lot. I mean, that's heavy.
Honestly, that girl probably did like you because she wanted to hang out with you and probably had some messed up baggage of her own. If she thinks it's okay just to scoot the chair on over to a guy and start doing that, that in and of itself is a sign that there's something not normal stuff going on in her life.
Yeah.
And the abuse is cyclical because now she's kind of passed that baggage on to you.
Right.
So try your best to move past that incident. Don't expect that kind of thing to happen again in the future. No. And, take your time. Like, you need to give people permission to do that to you.
Yeah. That is very important. Consent, please.
Yeah, you need to be comfortable, and, stuff like that shouldn't be happening in high school. No. Hey, high school kids watching out there, that is not
normal.
You don't want that to happen.
No.
You may wind up with a HJ porn addiction of your own, which, not saying anything against if you're into that kind of video, but if it's getting in the way of your life and your responsibilities, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
Crazy story. Thank you for emailing it to us. I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. Try to talk to a professional about that.
Please.
And as always, good luck. Thanks. Okay, we have another email here. This is a good email. It comes from an anonymous person, but listen to this. Hey, Derrick and Meg. So I have a quick question. A few days ago, I caught my girlfriend of almost 2 years going through my phone while she thought I was sleeping. That made me a bit suspicious, so I decided to start leaving my computer in a way that if someone was to browse through it, I would know.
Sneaky.
And it turns out that someone has, in fact, gone through it a couple of times. I honestly don't have anything to hide, so I'm not particularly worried, but it does make me slightly uncomfortable to not have a certain level of privacy. I don't know what to do. Should I confront her about this or just let her snoop if it makes her feel better? I guess my question is just, how do I help her to trust me more? And how do you deal with the idea of privacy when it comes to a significant other? Thanks. Love the show. Heart Anonymous.
Oh boy.
Privacy issues with a girlfriend of 2 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time for somebody to still not trust you.
Yeah.
Trust is definitely important.
Yeah, because I wonder if she suspects something or if she's just nosy.
You could never tell.
No.
I personally would not feel comfortable with somebody going through my stuff when I wasn't around.
Yeah.
Even if I had nothing to hide, because I just feel like it's a trust issue in our relationship. And you don't trust me, but you also can't come to me to talk about your trust issues.
That's a really good point.
And I don't want to make any accusations about your girlfriends, but I find that people who have something to hide often just think that everybody has something to hide.
I was honestly going to bring that up.
Yeah, I think that people who are untrustworthy themselves just naturally assume that they're normal.
Yeah.
And that everybody else is just as untrustworthy as they are.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I'm not saying your girlfriend has anything to hide. Maybe she's been burned in the past.
Yeah.
And that has made her paranoid.
Right.
But for whatever reason, there's always a root to the paranoia and to the lack of trust.
Yeah.
And you definitely want to get to the root of that problem.
Yeah.
You don't want to stay in a relationship with somebody who doesn't trust you.
I wouldn't allow her to keep doing it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. she's being untrustworthy by going behind your back and snooping through your stuff. Regardless of what her justifications are, she thinks you're up to something. She's the one who's actually up to something. She's waiting till she thinks you're asleep to go through your phone.
That's so sneaky.
She's waiting till you're not around to go through your computer. You know what would be funny? You should plant something on your computer for her to find.
Like what?
I don't know what it would be.
What?
Maybe a note for her.
Oh, God.
No,
Hello.
no, that's really passive aggressive. Just put something funny. Put some sort of weird.
Log off of my computer.
Find some sort of like minion anime hentai and put it in a
really into this.
Yeah, put it in a folder labeled super secret passionate stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody look in this folder.
And then bring it up later. If she brings it up like, hey, what was up with that minion hentai?
It'd be like, how dare you? Did you go into my super secret minion hentai folder that was
Didn't you read do not open?
clearly labeled? I don't know. That's a prank on her. But I would definitely
address it.
Yeah, in all seriousness.
Yeah.
I would talk to her about it. I would, you know what? I would say something like, hey, I noticed that somebody has been going through my phone.
That or put a passcode on your phone.
I think that would make the situation worse.
Yeah?
I think that would drive her crazy.
No, that's also true. Because she'd be like, oh my God, why did he do that?
Yeah, she's like, what the fuck is he hiding now? Ooh. I think that would exacerbate the situation. I think that you should just come right out, be straightforward with her, be like, don't accuse her of anything.
Right. Hey.
But I would say, like, I've noticed somebody has been going through my phone. Or I noticed somebody's been going through my computer. Mm-hmm. Was it you? And is there anything you want to talk to me about? And then she will probably come forward with, you know, whatever her concerns are, which would probably benefit the relationship in the long run. Just having a straightforward conversation. She can get out obviously something's bothering her. Yeah. You'll give her an opportunity to talk to you straightforwardly about it. Mm-hmm. Or if she denies it.
Ooh, that would be bad.
Yeah, then it would be, you know, I think this is a symptom of what could potentially become a bigger problem. Yeah. If she denies doing it, maybe then it's time to do the minion hentai folder trick and catch her red-handed. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a privacy issue. It's a trust issue.
Both are very big things in a relationship.
Yeah, you trust her and you deserve the same amount of trust that you give her. You deserve her to give that to you. So I would say talk to her about it. Don't accuse her of anything, but definitely bring it up and try to get to the root of what's going on here. This might be something bigger than you even realize. Yeah. So good luck. Thanks for the email. Would love to hear how this all turned out. So please give us an update if you can. That's all. Later. Wow, what an episode.
Crazy.
Yeah, some good stuff in there, as always. Thank everybody. Thanks to you for watching us and for supporting us, especially to the Mega 64 Patreon supporters. Hey, for just $1 a month, you get to see these episodes a whole week early. Isn't that great? You get all the advice faster than everybody else. That puts you at a competitive edge over everybody else when you're out there on the battlefield. Because as they say, love is a battlefield, so every little bit helps. So thank you for supporting us. Think about joining the Patreon if you want to get early access. Also, follow us on Twitter. I am at Gustafo.
And I am at Furnace Woods.
Yeah, for all Heartslayers updates and just, you know, our personal thoughts, funny posts, and musings from the brains of the Heartslayers. That's all for this episode. We're going to see you next time. I'm Derrick Acosta.
And I'm Meg Turner.
Keep on slaying those hearts out there with our help.
Bye.
Perfect outro. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. See you next time.